Today's guest is Jacob Deraps, Canadian guitarist and vocalist known for his electrifying playing style and his passion for classic rock. Now, while many recognize him for his Van Halen-inspired performances, he joins us today to talk about his new sophomore album, Viva Rock N Roll. So, Jacob, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So, my name is Metal Walt. I live in New Jersey in the States, and you're up in Quebec?
Yep.
All right, Quebec. So, I always get fired up. I'm 54 years old, but when I find a new young gunslinger such as you that's delivering this like authentic rock and roll, let's say for a new generation, really always gets me excited. So just curious, just how old are you?
I'm 28.
28. All right, you're a
Yeah.
kid. So I was
It's funny. I had to think about it because it was my birthday recently. I keep saying I'm 27, but I'm getting older now.
There you go. Well, that's a sweet spot for rock and roll musicians. So,
Yeah,
growing up
yeah.
Quebec, I read that you come from a family of musicians. So, what was like the dynamic like in your let's say in the household that shaped your pursuit into music?
Well, there was always music around, in the house, in the car, and when I was really young, like maybe like 3, 4 years old, I remember some band rehearsals. My parents had, just bands for fun, like local bands for fun. And I remember some rehearsals, and at 4 years old, they bought me a drum kit, and I started playing drums. But I haven't really got into it. I just didn't really care at the time. I was too young to care. But I remember playing a couple of songs, and I had that groove. I was able to follow a beat and groove with the drums. I just didn't really care at the time. So it wasn't until I was 12 that I picked up a guitar, but that was because of video games. And all my childhood, I was playing video games, all kinds of video games, and I just started playing, Guitar Hero, which was really
Mm-hmm.
big at the time. And that's, it had all of the music that I loved on there. And I grew up listening to Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Toto, Michael Jackson, Ozzy Osbourne, White Lion. I mean, you name it, all these bands from the 70s and 80s, all kinds of genres also. And yeah, so because of Guitar Hero, I was intrigued, and I picked up the guitar because my dad had a bunch of guitars, and I picked one up, started, learning all the chords and stuff, and I was just hooked, instantly hooked.
Now, were your parents were they into rock and hard rock or like what kind of
Oh
music?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, my dad was a massive Van Halen fan, and
Okay.
Ozzy, and my mom's a big Toto fan, Supertramp, all kinds of bands. I grew up, listening to Metallica, also Iron Maiden. Um, and when I first started playing guitar, I was really into Metallica. So I learned a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of songs. Uh, a lot of the songs, like really, even like full albums. And then I discovered Randy Rhoads, and for me that was it. Like that was my move towards more classic rock, uh, hard rock, riffing, and I just moved from metal to that. I just liked the chord progressions and the melodies and the groove. To me, that was really, uh, I don't know, it was more interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so now I understand this now. So Guitar Hero that went along, you're playing video games, your parents are playing this music as in the house as you're a kid. When you actually got, let's say, your first real guitar, like how old were you when you first started learning it?
Well, I was around 12 because my dad had
Yeah.
all these guitars, because he'd been playing for a long time, since the 80s. So there was a couple of guitars, around the house, and so I just picked one up. It's an old. I did a lot of videos with a blue Fender when I was younger, so that was the guitar that I started playing with.
Yeah. So it's cool. You mentioned I mean, obviously, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Van Halen. You
Hmm.
mentioned White Lion. I mean, that's their band from, they're Danish. Mike Tramp is Danish, but the rest of the band's
Right.
from down by me in New York.
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I was able to see White Lion in their heyday in 88, 89, 87.
Oh yeah.
Um, Vito Bratta is an amazing guitarist
Awesome.
that it's unfortunate you didn't, he's not out there anymore. But like,
Yeah.
you mentioned Randy Rhoads, but like, who are some of the guys that maybe past and present guitarists that like inspired you, like from back then and maybe now? Who are like the guys that get you fired up?
Well, the main one for me is Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen, just for me, just completely changed my view on guitar. The sound that I when I first heard the Van Halen sound, I was instantly hooked, and I just couldn't go back. So there was something with the groove, the sound, the feel. It just seemed to me like he had it all. Besides that, there's Randy Rhoads, Slash, the guys from AC/DC, White Lion, yeah, of course. Rat, also White Snake. All these guys, all these classic rock and '80s metal guys, and also, I love Steve Lukather. I love Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. So different influences there.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Eagles also. So a lot of different influences, but my main ones are probably Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Steve Lukather, and a bunch of others in that genre.
Yeah. So it sounds like you probably actually, as you started studying this stuff, you probably knew more about these artists than maybe even your dad did.
Maybe, yeah. After that, I mean, after a while, I just got so much into it and have a lot of obsession, towards these guys. How they do that, how they get the sound.
Yeah,
I'm just obsessed with that. All the legendary things surrounding the sounds.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, you gained your widespread recognition by building a substantial following on YouTube.
Hmm.
And not just doing covers of, let's say, Van Halen or Steve Vai or David Lee Roth solo, but very exact and precise covers. Like, when did you get
Yep.
started with that? And what were what were some of the bigger songs that got you noticed and put you on the radar?
Definitely Van Halen Mean Street when I was uh I don't know if I was 16 years old or something like that. The first time I covered Mean Street, probably around that, and Dweezil Zappa left a comment on my YouTube channel, and that's how we uh got in touch. And since then, I've been friends with Dweezil, and every time he comes here, we jam. And he also nominated me for an award when I think I was 19 at the time, the Dweezil and Frank Zappa Fellowship Award. And I went to Montana, and it was a big festival. I was there for 2 weeks, and I was surrounded with musicians and jamming, and also that around that time of the Main Street video. There's also articles that started popping out in the Van Halen News Desk. So that was really big for me also, because I reached out to all the Van Halen fans via that website. And there's probably other videos also, but mostly I think it's, well, there's also all the videos that I did with my drummer Josh. Yeah, when I think about it, all the, because we started working together, and people were really into it. The full band covers, and that was really interesting for the fans. So yeah, it reached to a wider audience, I think.
So if I got this right, so you initially, just yourself personally, you started playing, let's say, Mean Streak, and Dweezil Zappa and
Yeah.
maybe others got notice of you. But
Yep.
then you met John Gallagher, who's from Australia, online, and then
Josh Gallagher. Yeah. Yeah.
you guys started playing Van Halen songs together. Is that how it went?
Yeah. So Josh reached out to me on email on YouTube because he was doing the Van Halen thing also on the drums. So he wanted to do a collaboration video, and then eventually I saw the email and said yes, and we just started doing these videos, and then that's how we started also, playing live a
Wow.
couple years after that. Yeah.
So how again? Give me elaborate a little bit more on the Van Halen News Desk thing, because is that the official Van Halen News Desk website? So you submitted it or reached out to people, and then because you could only imagine there could be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
Well,
people that say, "Hey, I'm good. I'm going to submit my music," but not everybody gets
I'm
picked
not
up.
sure exactly. I'm not sure they actually reached out to me.
Mm.
I'm not sure exactly what happened there. If they saw the video online, probably, or someone sent it to them, and they reached out to me, and they were interested in doing an article. So that was the very first one. I was maybe 17 years old at the time, I think. Yeah, I think I was 17, the very first article. And since then, we kept in touch, and there's all these other articles that, we did together. But yeah, they reached out to me, and the rest is history. Yeah.
So how many let's say Van Halen or other songs, how many collaborations did you and Josh, let's say, work on together before you started
I'm not
like
sure.
the Deraps pack?
Honestly, uh, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 or so, maybe a little
Okay.
bit less, maybe like six. I can't remember from the top of my head, but there's a couple of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I could only imagine that, like, that exposure, right, probably, led to the rise in your social media presence. I mean, just how big, let's say, did your page get? How many subscribers? Like, what's it at now? Like, I could
Well,
imagine.
at the moment, I have just about 40, just over 44,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hmm.
On Facebook, almost 30. I have, I think, 28 or 29. And on Instagram, almost 10. But I was kind of late on the Instagram thing, and I don't like it as much. But I'm
Hmm.
starting to get the idea now of how it works, and I just don't like it as much.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's funny. Like, I think of somebody like me from my generation. I'm probably more in your mother and father's age. It like
Hmm.
social media and digital platforms are what they are now. And I think of somebody like you and your generation, and how important the social media stuff is, to kind of working on your career, right? Like, this is what you guys have to do now. I mean, there are no record labels that are out there
Yeah,
supporting you. Like,
that's a big
like,
problem, I think. Yeah, it
yeah.
can be it can be helpful, but the reality is that we're slaves to it. We're forced to do it. You have to get into the social media game, and there's no escape from it. If you want to build a fan base, and you want to, I mean, it's the only way, literally,
Hmm.
because everyone is on it now. There's fewer people that go out. There's fewer people that encourage new bands, and there's no real push behind bands nowadays. The music industry is just not there anymore. So there's, a lot of people will say, oh, bands these days and guitar players these days, oh, they're lucky because they can reach out to, the whole world with the social media platforms and all. I mean, that's not the reality, because everyone is on social media these days. So you get
Hmm.
drowned into this sea of uh, content, and everything is fast paced, and like you can get a video that blows up 1 million views on social media, and then the next day you upload another video, you get 600 views. So it's very, very difficult to get out and build an actual fan base, which is why my favorite platforms are YouTube and Facebook, because there seems to be a more sustainable growth and sustainable fans.
Hmm. Yeah, because on that note too, Jacob. Like, again, I want to go back to your point. Like, when you started collaborating with Josh, I mean, again, you guys live several continents away, which is not easy. But you
Yep.
said you guys, okay, I'm assuming your following picked up, and then you guys decided to get together and play live shows. Now, was this
Yep.
before you guys wrote new material?
Yeah, that was before the first album. That was
Okay.
before that. I always had some demos, way before that, some old demos that I did created basically all of the music for. But that, I mean, we didn't start working on originals probably until after the first time we got together to play live. Yeah,
Mhm.
probably.
Now,
Yeah.
where did you guys play in terms of geography?
Here in Quebec, we did a bunch of
Okay.
festivals and bars, and ever since the first time we started playing together, uh, we did that pretty much every summer, except for the couple of uh, years of the pandemic.
Hmm.
And Yeah, we basically play everything we can, from festivals to big opening slots for big bands and even parties and private shows and all that
Hmm.
stuff. We do it all basically.
Now, did you? I was going to say, do you guys have additional members that go out touring live, or is it just the two of you guys?
Yeah, we have a bass player. I mean, we've changed bass players over the years.
Okay.
These days we use whoever fits what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who were some of you said you opened up for some big names? Who were some of the artists or festivals that you guys played with?
Yeah, the biggest one we did was Foreigner. We opened for Foreigner just a couple years ago in 2023, in the summer of 2023. It was Loverboy and Foreigner, and we were just before that on a big stage. It was at the Budweiser stage in Toronto, so it was massive
Yeah.
stage with probably around 10 to 12,000 people when we played. It was pretty packed. That was a really big thing for us. And we opened for Ann Wilson, Blue Oyster Cult also in the UK. Not right before Blue Oyster Cult, but on the same bill. Uh, and yeah, we did a bunch of them. It was really really fun. It was all on that 2023 tour that we did for the
Mhm.
for the first album.
So so you've gone overseas too. So you went to the UK and Europe.
We did a little bit, yeah, for a really short tour that we did there. Just a couple
Wow,
of
that's
dates. It was the first time
yeah,
overseas. It was pretty
yeah.
crazy.
I bet that's and that's so. It's actually a great story. Do you think about it? Because here you are, you guys are. I don't know how many thousands of miles away. You meet online essentially, right? You don't
Yeah,
know if you're
yeah.
going to get on as people. You just know that hey, this guy can
Of
play, and
course.
he's thinking the same to you. But then you got to actually gel when you're together, right? And
You know,
then
one of
again,
one of the craziest thing also is the first time we got together here in Montreal, because I picked Josh up at the airport uh, in Montreal, and then we went right to the Toto show because there was a Toto show, and we had tickets for that, and so we went right there at the sound check. We got up on stage, and there's a video of that on my YouTube channel, by the way. So we got up on stage with them during the sound check, and we played Rosanna, and that was the first time I had ever played with my drummer. Me and Josh
wow,
together playing Rosanna with the actual band. It was crazy.
wow, I got to check that out. That's a cool story.
Yep.
I mean, how did you get the invite to do the sound check? Was it just again through your exposure to Steve Lukather? He was aware of you at that point.
No, actually, that was maybe. I think Josh got in touch with him through one of our contact. Maybe Robert Knight, the photographer. I think.
Mhm.
Because I've been in touch with him for a while, for a long time, and yes, probably through him. He got us the tickets for the sound check and the contact with Steve Lukather, and I think everything was arranged via Steve.
Wow, that's a cool,
Yeah,
unique, and interesting story. I love to hear these
very
things.
cool. Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool.
So, we'll want to focus on the new album, but just around the
Yep.
time when you guys were writing the debut, let's say, I mean, you're playing as often compared to Eddie Van Halen, but I say to you, like, how do you balance honoring, let's say, Eddie or your influences, yet at the same time forging your own musical identity? Because that's a slippery slope, right? You want people to say, "Hey, this guy's got the chops." but you also don't want them to say, "Hey, he's just an Eddie Van Halen clone."
Right. But I don't really think about that stuff, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I pick when I pick up the guitar and there's, riffs coming out of it, and it's just everything comes naturally. The ideas just flow, and whatever is that I'm creating, uh, it can be many different genres, many different styles. I mean, even on the first album, there's a lot of songs uh, that are not necessarily in the style of Van Halen. When you think about stuff like On My Mind and Live Fast, Die Slow and Veins in My Heart, there's a lot of different genres with, I guess, a certain sound and consistency. But and especially in that second album is completely different now. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different influences and styles on that album. But yeah, it's not something I think about really. It just happens. And if I like the song, if I like the riffs, then I go forward with them and finish the songs.
Where do you get your inspiration from when you start putting together a piece of music? Where does it come from? Personal experiences, musical heroes, world events? Like where's your what
Usually,
gets you?
yeah, I pick up the guitar and start playing, and sometimes there's just a really interesting riff that comes out of me, and I get kind of excited and obsessed with it, and then I start playing around, and the song just comes together. Um, I can't really say how it works, but anytime I pick up a guitar, there's a new riff or there's a new idea coming out of it, and I record it on my phone. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just create a song with it. I finish it and create a song with it. And there's a lot of my old demos uh, that I did with, I wrote all of the guitar parts, the bass parts, even some of the drum parts. I did all the drum draft for the demos. So I have a lot of these old demos which I sent to Josh, and Josh write the lyrics. And he does some vocal drafts on it, and that's how we write songs together.
So he's the main lyrical writer.
Yeah, he's the lyricist.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he comes up with the ideas. Got it. Got it.
Hmm.
Before we get into Viva Rock and Roll, I wanted to mention to you in last year I interviewed a band called Red Voodoo. Dino, the lead singer
Okay.
guitarist, Red Voodoo. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're a young California band, probably in your same age category. But what's interesting is there's a lot of comparisons to what you guys are doing and what they're doing because he had a similar story. His parents were listening to Sammy Hagar solo, Sammy Hagar Van Halen. He got inspired by those guys and he started to become a musician inspired by Sammy Van Halen. The name of the band is Red Voodoo after Sammy's album.
All
And
right, right.
he's met him and he's played with them. And their product is really, really good too. So I welcome you to check them out. You guys should connect. It would
I'll
be,
check it out. Yeah.
an obvious fit. You guys would
Yeah.
probably really get on well. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah. So Viva Rock and Roll, number one, it's a great new album. I've been spinning it all week. So let's
Thanks.
talk first about the title and the album art, right? So it says here you hand drew the album art, but what's kind of
It's
cool about it?
my girlfriend did it. She hand drawn the whole
Okay.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but what's going on in there, right? Because you have like the sheep behind like a,
Hmm.
kind of a barrier, and then there's the big black sheep in the front, and then there's all these people, holding up signs. Get a
So
real
the
job, write your own songs,
yeah,
pay your dues.
yeah. So I had a concept for the album, for the cover, the art, and so what it represents is that there's a bunch of sheeps that are basically protesting for all kinds of things. Okay, and there's the black sheep in front, which doesn't fit the crowd behind. He doesn't have the tag. His ear is bleeding, and he's basically saying, "I don't give a fuck. It's all about rock and roll." Okay, so that's what it is. That it fits perfectly with the theme of the song, the lyrics of Viva Rock and Roll. It's a song that's about freedom, and it's very, the lyrics are really powerful, and and I don't know. I like the meaning. I think it really represents us as a band and the way that we think. And it's also a dig at the haters. So all the sheeps behind are holding signs, saying
Yeah.
write your own songs. These are comments that I get all the time, even after releasing, a second album.
Mm.
There's so many haters and people that have no clue what they're talking about, and they're just writing nonsense all the time. These are comments that I get all the time.
That's a shame. I mean, again, right? Like, get a real job. Like, what does that mean? Like, you're not
Yeah,
trying like
exactly.
hell. Like, I mean, writing
Well,
your own
I
songs,
mean, yeah,
obviously, right?
yeah. Pay your dues. The music should be free. It's the same thing. There's these days, music is not valued anymore the way that it should be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. I like when you see one that says "get a real job." That's always like going to be the forever story of rock and roll and metal. It's
Of
like,
course.
all right, come on, you're going to grow up someday. Come on, you got to get a real job. You
Yeah.
can't do this forever, right? But
Yeah,
that
exactly.
doesn't apply. That probably doesn't apply to you because your parents are musicians.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I've heard it many times from a lot of people, though. I mean, it's just not viewed as work, And the thing is, the craziest thing is that we sometimes we just work more than most people. I mean, creating an album like this, only the two of us. It's me and Josh on the whole thing. I produced, mixed, played bass, played guitar, sang. I mean, we had to do everything ourselves. It's so much work. It's crazy. Creating the
Yeah.
songs, recording
Well,
the songs.
how does
Yeah.
it work too? How does it work? Because again, is it file sharing? Do you guys periodically try to get together maybe once a year and sit down in a room, or what's it like? Because there's a
The
big time
first
difference too.
one, yeah, the first one we really did it completely by distance. So he was doing his tracks in Australia, sending it to me, and then I sent him all the tracks after, and he did all the mixing stuff. And then the second one was different. When we were on tour in 2023, uh, it was during the tour that we started recording the drums here in Quebec, and then we went to Europe, and then we came back and finished recording the drums here, and then basically after that, I started recording all the other instruments, and I mixed everything myself, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Always curious and on how that works in like
Yep.
the modern day and age because everything changed with the pandemic and it just became people became complacent with that, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It's just more convenient. But yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. Your title track, it's your first single and video as well. It's a real rocker with a great pace. And it's like, if you don't know who you are, this is an awesome song that just showcases your guitar work. But there's a lot of variety on the album too. Like Animalize, I like to say this one's kind of it's a sexy, sleazy song. It's like a real throwback
I
song,
agree.
like from a
Yeah,
from
yeah,
a
that
different
that one,
era.
yeah, that one I think is the most Van Halen song of the album.
All right.
I just the guitar riffs and the fills and the way that I uh, uh, arranged and mixed the whole thing, it really sounds Van Halen-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. Um, I'm curious here. The Legend of Larrikin Laddie. I'm curious what
Yep.
that is. What is it? But this one to me is the outlier. Like this one is like it's all ACDC. It's like an ACDC type track,
Yep.
even down to the
Exactly.
oys in there, in the
Yeah,
oys.
yeah, exactly. So the song is a tribute to Bon Scott, and all the
Yep.
lyrics are basically, stories and legends uh, of Bon Scott. It's a tribute. It's really all about Bon Scott. So that's why
Oh,
I wanted that. Well, we wanted that AC/DC feel and sound. So uh, all the riffing and everything is kind of really early AC/DC with Bon Scott. Yeah.
yeah. And I gotta say, your drummer partner there, he even looks a little like Bon Scott. I'm not gonna lie in the press
Oh, he does.
photos.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a little bit. Uh-huh.
He does a lot. Trust me, not a little. He does a lot.
Right, right.
But
Yeah, and
but
yeah, also He's got that accent.
Uh-huh.
He's saying a couple of lines in the beginning of the song, and you can tell.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, your second single, right? I think it's an awesome track, right? Number one, you have Equinox, which is your nice guitar interlude, and then it just blends right into Last Fall, right? There's a video
Yep,
for that one too. But
yep.
Last Fall, it's a bright, melodic, and catchy song. It's almost like, like to me, I say, my young daughter says, "Oh, this is the feel good song of the summer, Dad." I'd like feel like Last Fall could be like the feel good song of the summer for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's got this just upbeat, good time, summer good time feel to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but it's got a different sound
yeah,
to it too. It's more radio friendly.
yeah. It's more melodic rock. A little bit of that Van Halen sound, but also, a lot of people compared it to White Lion, and I
Mm.
didn't really think about it at the time, but uh, I was influenced by White Lion very much when I first created that song, and that's one of my very first songs that I ever created. This one in Setting Sun also.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it about White Lion sound that you love so much?
I like the melodies. There's just the guitar melodies. He was really a melodic player, great riffs and uh, catchy, guitar riffs, and that's what I like about that kind of music.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guitar work. Yeah,
They definitely were. I mean, they got categorized in the '80s rock scene, but I felt like there are certain bands that stand out above the rest of the groups of after the big heavy hitters, right? But they
yeah,
were definitely
yeah.
one of them. Band like them, a band like Tesla, to me, I think they felt they were in their own category of unique and much better than the other 100 bands that were at that level of
Yeah,
similarities.
for sure. Yeah, just Vito was just great. He was a great guitar player, just very melodic and unique. He definitely had, that Van Halen thing, um, but he used it well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So going down the album, I mean, there's some variety as you get to the middle of the back end. Like, I love the song "Solitaire" because this one's kind of
Solitaire.
groovy.
Yeah,
It's got these big harmonies. It really feels nostalgic to me, but in like your own authentic modern way. And then you have a song like Born to Die, which is like a heavier track, and it's a
yeah,
little epic. It opens up, and
yeah.
there's some funny lyrics in there, and you kind of go off on that song as the song kind of goes on there. So definitely some contrast on those two.
It's kind of like theater, that one. The whole Born to Die song is really cinematic. We wanted to create a vibe and just really kind of have the song feel like a movie.
Okay. Okay. What
Yeah.
was going on there? Because I hear there's some laughter. I feel like maybe there's some female vocals in there or speaking, or maybe I'm just not picking it up right.
In the like maybe you're talking about just before the guitar solo hit.
Yeah.
There's a whole uh, basically like a murder scene. It's death taking you. Just you're seeing it and you're gonna die. That's basically the whole. It's kind of like a movie. Yeah, it's like death
Okay.
is here to take your life basically, and then you hear screams and it puts you into that ambience, and then the guitar solo hits, and yeah, it's really like a movie.
But it stands out differently from the other stuff. Like a song like that closes the album, the Black Sheep Boogie. I love that one. It's kind of a playful toe tapping boogie. It's just got those big multi-layered harmonies. It's just a nice way to close out the album. Just strong track.
Thanks. Yeah, I like that one too. It's like basically 70s rock and roll. It's raw. And I wrote this one entirely by myself. So that's one of the songs that I did all of the lyrics and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's more 70s, and the solo is kind of Van Halen-ish. Also, I like
Yeah.
the guitar solo. Reminds me a little bit of Ice Cream Man. Also has a
Yeah.
little bit of that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Overall, your body of work, it feels familiar, but it's not like it's not another band. It's just familiar, authentic sound, but it's a throwback sound to something that from my generation of rock that I love so much. So,
Yeah, I
but
agree. Yeah, that's what we're going for. I like that kind of organic, authentic rock sound. I like when it feels and it sounds like a real band playing live. Not the generic, over compressed, over polished sound that we often get today.
yeah, yeah, completely. So, maybe some of the other tracks, Blind Side, I think this one's good too because it's kind of bluesy and soulful. And then
Yep.
Setting Sun is a bit of a slower track. So again, it just shows
Yep.
that
Yep.
you guys put a lot of effort into creating a lot of different variety on these 11
Yep.
songs.
Definitely. Definitely. There's a lot of variety of genres. And I think, there's not a single song that, sounds like another track on the album. They all sound different. That keeps you from top to bottom, it keeps you really invested into listening to the album. And I really like the album overall. I think every song has something special, unique, and catchy. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. I think it reminds me of the bands in the '70s and the '80s. It seems like a lot of bands back then didn't really stick to one style and one genre. Like
Mhm.
Led Zeppelin did all kinds of things. Even Van Halen. You listen to Big Bad Bill and the song "Women and Children First." Also,
Yep.
"Could This Be Magic?" I'm talking about. There's all these bands back then. They were making music, and that's what we want to do. Just whatever comes out of the guitar or the lyrics, or we're just there to make the best songs we can. I think that album really is just a good piece of work. There's a lot of different styles, and somehow it's really cohesive and it makes sense together.
Yeah. Well, we're at Metal Mayhem ROC. We're definitely on board with this band and this album. So you're going to get our support. So best of luck. The album comes out May 25th, I think it is.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
We'll make sure to
May
be
23rd.
May 23rd. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So a couple weeks out. But so now what are going to be your plans to promote it? You going to get back out on the road, do any summer shows, anything like that?
We're probably going to do like a small summer tour, just a promo thing that we're going to do here. Because the album is coming out in just a couple of weeks, and it's kind of late into the booking and stuff. So probably going to wait a little bit longer for a real tour to happen. So hopefully we can go out this summer, just do a couple of shows here and there and promote the album, and then later on book an actual a big tour for the album.
Well, it would be awesome if you could get down to maybe somewhere in the States, Jersey, New York, some of
I'd
the big
love
cities.
to. I'd love to. Hopefully we can make it happen this time. It's always very complicated, with the
Yeah.
visas, and the problem is that we're from outside, so that's why it's always very complicated. We'd like to make it happen, obviously. It'd be great for us, and we know a lot of people are waiting for that. Most of our listeners are in the States,
Yeah.
but it's just very complicated.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Well, we'll be waiting and hopeful to get to see you out there at some point in time. So for more information on Jacob Deraps, head over to derapsofficial.com for all of his information and links to his socials. So Jacob, we appreciate your time today. So thank you. And for my guest today, Jacob Deraps, I'm Metal Walt, and this is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.